What is going on, everybody? ZyoniK here, and in today's video we have a very cool team submitted to the channel by Cool Stevie running the Shadow Charizard there, Diggersby and Lickitung. Now, Diggersby got access to Scorching Sands, and previously Diggersby's moveset used to be Fire Punch and Earthquake, but now since the meta has completely shifted, Diggersby is meta by running Hyper Beam and Scorching Sands. Yes, you love to see it, you love to hear it. Hyper Beam is meta, and it is so satisfying to me that it is, and I also fear it, extremely fear it. In Go Battle League, I'm basically always shielding if they got enough energy. So let's see how these battles go. Let me know down in the comments if you guys have been running Diggersby with Hyper Beam and how is that going. All right, getting into the first battle here, we have Charizard on the lead versus Gligar, and a shiny one at that. Now Gligar, I will say, it has been so refreshing and satisfying to see a new flying type Pokemon in the meta. Now, we do see a Lickitung safe swap in, so Charizard's going to go ahead and give up one shield here on the Body Slam and look to go for a Blast Burn to apply a lot of neutral damage. Then I would imagine we see a Mirror Fight potentially coming out right here. So they're going to go ahead and maybe stay in a bit longer. Yeah, they do swap out now into their own Lickitung, and they do catch the charge move here. Charizard, especially Shadow Charizard, is so glassy that a Body Slam from a Lickitung does an incredible amount of damage, so it's more ideal to come in to the mid-game matchup when you're ahead in terms of health, like we see right here. Now, this also opens the door for the opponent to potentially counter swap back into a different Pokemon since these switch clocks are out of alignment, and that's what we see. We see a Gligar come right in. So there's actually no Medicham in the back. I thought there might have been potentially coming in. But Gligar here still going to do a good job and a good amount of neutral energy with the Aerial Ace and Wing Attack. And notice how the opponent is loading up on a ton of energy. This is exactly what you need to do as they go for the dig. Now, let's see if they decide to come in with Charizard or Diggersby. They're going to go ahead and come in with Charizard and go for the Dragon Claw right away. And this is why you always want to be storing and banking energy so that you can apply that heavy neutral damage on the back end. They're going to go ahead and give up the final shield as well to the Aerial Ace, as we do see them get fully farmed down. Now, there's still there's a Lantern in the back, so they're going to go ahead and go for the Blast Burn here. Between Dragon Claw and Blast Burn does do more damage even though it is resisted, and Diggersby now is going to show us what it is made of. This Lantern does have access to Surf, but it's not going to be enough to one-shot. It will take multiple Surfs in order to take out Diggersby, and having Scorching Sands and Hyper Beam is obviously very ideal. Now, the opponent decided to swap back into Lickitung here to try to catch the charge move, but ultimately Diggersby, I think, has the potential to win as long as they don't get to a Power Whip. This is going to be dangerous. Let's see how close this gets. I think this is Power Whip, and it is, so that's going to be landing for super effective damage. But Diggersby able to do the aggressive farm down with a back-to-back Scorching Sands right here. I would love to see a Hyper Beam if this gets a shield, but ultimately I don't think they need it, as they can they don't need it. They can easily go for back-to-back Scorching Sands right here, and Diggersby able to come out on top. Boom, down goes the Lantern. That is going to be a good game, very well played. All right, moving into the next one. We have Charizard on the lead versus Medicham. Very positive matchup right here. Does need to watch out for energy on the back end, as Ice Punch and Psychic can still do a lot of damage. But the longer you stay into this matchup, the more oppressive the Charizard here is going to get, as Blast Burn just one shot. Straight up, boom! See ya! And we do see a Pelipper swap in now, and Charizard's going to go ahead and swap out and catch the charge move here on Lickitung. Once again, banking the energy, saving that Dragon Claw or one or two fast moves away there from Blast Burn, as Lickitung now has free reign in this game because Medicham is off of the field, right? It was taken out, so there's likely not a hard counter back there, literally, with the fast move of counter to take down a Lickitung easily. So it's going to be up to Pelipper here to do the heavy lifting, as it does go for the Hurricane. And Pelipper now not able to get the farm down as a simultaneous CMP, right? It's not simultaneous, it's just CMP. charge move priority, but they both went for the charge move at the exact same time. As Charizard comes in, there is a Lantern in the back, and having this energy ready to go, we know it's going to do quite a bit of resisted damage, and now the Diggersby is going to come in and lock this game down. Lantern really can't do anything here. The matchup is a bit more favorable for a Lantern if it has Water Gun and Surf, just because of the raw, super effective damage that you can do that really adds up over time. But in terms of charge moves, Scorching Sand just does way more, flat out way more damage, and it has the potential to get to the attack drop right there. So we do see that attack drop as they will decide to shield the Surf. And now, Scorching Sands, such a beautiful charge move. They're going to go ahead and go for another one. And this is what makes Diggersby extremely viable, and I think a part of the meta, because of its ability to apply those potential debuffs, the spam, the coverage, the energy, or the damage to energy ratio. It's a beautiful charge move as Pelipper goes down as well, and that is going to be a good game. All right, moving into the next one, we have Charizard on the lead versus Jellicent. So this is a tough one here. Core breaking. If you take a look at this team, they're going to go ahead and look to stay in, maybe catch the charge move on the Lickitung. And they do swap out in the Lickitung here, but the opponent deciding to throw energy anyways. This is ideal. You want to soak energy here, especially Surf if you can, and they do swap out into Medicham. And the reason why they were forced to do that is the Lickitung does have the opportunity to take down a Medicham because of the fast move of Lick and the Body Slam spam. So in order for Medicham to guarantee switch advantage, it has to have damage advantage, which is why they went for Surf. Now Medicham here still could be in some trouble as they decide to no-shield, and this is why Lickitung is extremely dangerous. If they could easily switch this, but there wouldn't be an advantage to that, because both Charizard and Diggersby are weak to Jellicent with that Surf damage. So what they need instead is energy. And that's what we're going to see with Charizard coming back in, getting the fast move down, Blast Burn ready to go, and they will decide to go for it here. Again, even though it is resisted, it is a Shadow Charizard, fire typing Pokemon with the Community Day move, and that is an incredible amount of damage. They will give up a shield right here because now Charizard might just be able to outpace in terms of damage from its fast move. Let's see, there's 1 Hex, there's 2 Hex. Oh no, they do get to the Surf in time. These games are a bit sped up, so it's hard on previously keep track of all the energy as I shoutcast, but we do see a swap. We see a swap out into Swampert. So can a Charizard Diggersby core beat a Jellicent Swampert core? You're about to see here today, and this is why energy is the name of the game, because Charizard is in a huge position to potentially win this game later on, as Diggersby now has the bulkiness to survive a Hydro Cannon, but I don't think it can survive 2. So there's 1. Yeah, definitely cannot survive 2. Here comes the Scorching Sands, and this might be exactly what this trainer needs in order to win this game. Is Scorching Sands is going to be enough to get it extremely low. Swampert desperately trying to overload on energy. It has to get to a Hydro Cannon versus Charizard. I think if it did right there, if it stored enough energy, this might be a good... Yeah, it's a back-to-back. I hyped that up like there was a comeback, but really, Swampert is just, it's too good. It is so good, and that is going to be a good game. But they did have a Charizard Diggersby core versus a Jellicent Swampert core, so double core broken, and it still came kind of close there in terms of energy potential to win. All right, good game. We got Altaria here on the lead. Let's see how this one goes. Dragon Claw is going to be doing super effective damage. So we'll have to see if the Altaria is going to be giving up shields right here. Yes, they do. They're going to go ahead and swap out now into Lickitung and look to get ahead on energy and go for those Body Slam spams. And if you're the Lickitung user right now, you love seeing energy dumped into Lickitung when you utilize it with a glassy lead, because it just gives you that huge advantage later on where you didn't necessarily have to shield on Charizard, right? So Body Slams are going to be coming through now. They're not swapping out. This is very interesting. This could be a tell that maybe there is a Swampert in the back potentially, because it doesn't want to come into the Power Whip. And the Altaria right here does have a chance to land the charge move, but is it going to be enough damage? Sky Attack? No, that's not going to be enough. Lickitung will survive, maintain switch advantage, It actually is going to be an Alolan Marowak in the back, the GOAT. So that is a good reason why they didn't swap in, but Diggersby now has a very good matchup as they decide to bring in Umbreon, and Shadow Charizard is going to go ahead and come in right away and look to go for Blast Burn. This is going to do a lot of neutral damage, but the thing is, do you give up the shield here on Blast Burn? I think they did right there. Obviously, the animation did not come up, but I think ultimately this is going to be a game for Diggersby to try to beat the Alolan Marowak in the 0 shields, as Charizard needs to land as much damage as possible, which is why we're seeing the double shield right here. Umbreon cannot safely farm down from this range because Blast Burn, they'll be able to get to 2 if they don't throw the foul play. So this is really good offensive pressure here from the Charizard. As you can see right there, they have to throw on the next charge move, otherwise Dragon Claw would be coming through, and now Diggersby is very, very safe. Having that added ground typing with Scorching Sands, this is looking to be a good game as they can easily take out the Umbreon before they get to another foul play, and then Scorching Sands is going to be doing super effective damage against the Alolan Marowak in the no shield situation as they do decide to surrender. Alright, moving into the next one, we have... Let's see here. We have Charizard on the lead versus Gligar once again. Was this? This looks like similar trainer. Let's see if they decide to play this out the same. I recognize the Gyarados hat. They do catch, this is not the same game. They do catch the charge move though here on the Lickitung, which is huge, as that energy is going to go to waste and the opponent is deciding to stay in. This might be a tell that they are potentially weak in the back, or they're just trying to soften it up before they come in with their potential Medicham or whatever is going to be back there, as we do have a Body Slam now coming through here against the Gligar. But Gligar, still being somewhat tanky, can easily survive 1. It cannot survive 2, however. So they're going to go ahead and go for it on CMP tie. But now the question is this a dig? They decide to let it go. It is a dig. That is enough to take it out. So unfortunate right there, as Charizard could potentially come in and farm down, which is what they're looking to do, as Wing Attack is going to do enough damage. Now this Charizard is loaded. What do they have in the back? It is going to be a Mew. Very interesting. Haven't seen this Pokemon in a while, but a Mew does not like Blast Burns anyway. Oh, it landed! Boom! And now we have a Golisopod coming in, and this is why they were having a hard time swapping in. Lickitung was obviously a good answer. Now Charizard is having a field day here as they go ahead and go for the Blast Burn as well. Oh my goodness, you'll love to see it, as Diggersby now is going to be swapping in and they decide to surrender. Alright, good game. That was a fun one. I love when the Blast Burns land through shields. It's so satisfying. Alright, Alolan Sandslash here on the lead. This is obviously a tough lead to be facing off against because of the Shadow Claw Ice Punch damage. But on the other side, Blast Burn is tough too. So they're going to go ahead and swap into Lickitung and swap into Lickitung to do what it does best, and that is soak energy. Now we do see a Medicham swap in, so you can already predict, really. I mean, a lot of us have seen this team, a lot of us have used this team, probably in Azumarill as Pokemon number 3, as it's very popular and very strong. But Lickitung here can still apply some pressure in the mid game with some Body Slams, but Medicham is ultimately going to be able to farm down here just before Body Slam. Wow, they do get the full farm down. So this is kind of like worst case scenario if you are the Charizard, because this Medicham just has so much energy that you're going to be forced to shield, and then you're going to have to desperately try to commit to the farm down before they get to another charge move, which is going to be the tough call here. They do get it. That is perfect. Now, we do see an Azumarill come in, so they're going to go ahead and swap into Diggersby. And let's see if the Diggersby can overcome. Obviously, the opponent cannot swap out, but Diggersby is going to be weak to Hydro Pump and Ice Beam. And it's a Hydro Pump that lands. That is so much damage. Firing right back here with the Hyper Beam. Let's see if they decide to shield. Oh, they do decide to shield the Hyper Beam, and a surrender right there. Good game. All right, moving into the next battle here. We have Charizard on the lead versus Lickitung. Okay, so we've seen this matchup before. It's kind of tough, but the opponent actually decides to swap out into Shadow Gligar, so that we do see a counter swap now into Lickitung to take on this mid-game matchup. Now we'll have to see who decides to go for the aggressive switch advantage, as both Pokemon can do a lot of neutral damage to each other. But ultimately, I think we're kind of reading a potential Medicham in the back. I've seen this team before: Lickitung, Medicham, and Gligar. So let's see how this plays out, and if it is in fact a Medicham lurking back there as the anchor of the opponent's team, as a dig does land. And thankfully, not thankfully, they cannot get to a body slam right there. So they're going to have to let they decide to shield. They decide to shield the Aerial Ace and now go for body slam, hoping to take switch advantage. Or at least in this scenario, get the Gligar low enough. Oh, they take switch advantage. That is huge. As we do see Lickitung come back in. And now we can see Charizard look to come in right here and go for a Blast Burn. And then potentially catch the body slam on the Diggersby. Let's find out. Blast Burn does land an incredible amount of damage, as they wanted to. You saw them click right there. They desperately wanted to switch in and catch the charge move here, but ultimately they should be able to go for double Dragon Claws now. I think the Lickitung might just be like one fast move, a couple fast moves away here from body slam, as they decide to let it go. Final Pokemon. No, it's actually gonna be a Gliscor in the back. So a a Blast Burn gonna be coming through, and you all know what this means. It gets the shield and the Diggersby. We get a Hyper Beam. If you've been hanging around this long, the satisfaction is coming. Gliscor, please do not surrender. I am asking you on behalf of all of YouTube right now, let the Hyper Beam through. You love to see it. Here we go. Boom! One shots my elbow. This desk, I got a little desk right here. Yeah. Good game. All right, moving into the next one. We got Charizard versus Pelipper here on the lead. Very tough lead. So we will see a potential swap out on the charge move to catch that Weather Ball, as they do swap out. But the Pelipper does a great job holding the energy, anticipating that safe swap from the opponent, and deciding to unleash charge moves now, as it is going to be a Hurricane. A lot of neutral damage there on the Lickitung, and a counter swap now into Serperior. Fun fact, Serperior is like extremely meta now. With the update to Aerial Ace and the nerf to Sky Attack, which transitioned the flyers that we see in this meta more towards Gligars and Pelippers. There is Charizard, right? There is still Altaria lurking around, but you'll see a lot more Gligars and Pelippers than you do see a Knocked Out or an Altaria, and Serperior does very well in that meta because of the neutral damage with Frenzy Plant. So we're going to see the Serperior take this mid-game, but Charizard can come in and farm down with Wing Attack. And I wasn't keeping track. I'm guessing Serperior does have some energy right here. Let's find out. They do get the farm down. Okay. All right. Let's see what decides to come in now. It is going to be the Pelipper that comes back into this fight as they go ahead and go for Dragon Claws. But this Charizard is loaded on energy, which means it can unleash these charge moves and force shields now in a situation where you might be more favored toward the Water Flyer versus the Fire Flyer, right? But this is what I love about Pokemon Go Battle League, is the ability to come back in tough situations because of how this game plays out. Now they're going to go ahead and shield the Weather Ball. We will see another one come through, so it is the true battle of the Flyers right now as Pelipper gets all shields off of the field, and a counter swap now into Defense Form Deoxys, so we will see a Blast Burn come through, and now it's going to be up to Diggersby to close this game out as the Blast Burn will land, and we will see the counter swap after loading the Dragon Claw right there. That is very crucial. Now Defense Form Deoxys right here decides to throw the Psycho Boost, which is unfortunate for them because it lowers their attack, which means Diggersby is free to basically commit to the farm down with Mud Shot. We might see a Scorching Sand. Yeah, we're going to see a Scorching Sands here, I think, once they get back-to-back charge moves, because it should do enough damage. Maybe they're trying to delay Switch Clock. Yeah, they're going to go ahead and go for Scorching Sands. You really can't farm that down. They will undercharge it, though. This is an interesting call because it might not do enough damage. They do get an extra mud shot through. And now they can go for the Hyper Beam against the Pelipper. And I'm not going to boom my elbow this time, but you love to see it. Boom. Takes down the Pelipper, and that is going to be a good game. Very well played. All right. Moving into, that was the final one. That was the final game. What a fun set of battles right there. I think it really goes to show the mastery that this trainer has on this team. You definitely saw some very high skilled gameplay right there. You also saw what Diggersby is capable of with Scorching Sands and Hyper Beam. Absolutely beautiful, and Lickitung is a great pairing as well. So hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Again, shout out to Cool Stevie for sharing these battles with us. And like always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.